the mere fact that the mayor approves an executive order on its own, it stands on its own. The council, whether it passes this or doesn't pass this, would not jeopardize the coronavirus 19 reimbursement. I had it confirmed by all the folks involved, and the answer is no. So if council members are basing their decision on that, you're basing on falsehoods. And number three, more importantly, on top of that is, as you all know, I'm sure you understand the city charter, the mayor has a right to execute an executive order. And per the city charter, he has a right to do it, then have it not be taken to effect not be effective no more than 60 days. So the mayor has submitted his first executive order, and he can say it's good for 60 days or less than. The council does not have to take an affirmative or negative action on this executive order whatsoever. In fact, it has no meaning whatsoever. It's just strictly a feel-good process. If the council did vote against this, it has zero impact on the COVID-19 reimbursement, nor does it have an impact on the mayor's ability for a standing executive order. But on top of that, I'm concerned about one item because it's the all or nothing typical executive order. I disagree with the closing of all our public parks and facilities. Now, why? I'm not saying we should not practice caution. We have an opportunity to maybe have an opportunity to do a limited opening, do it in such a process where folks can enjoy the outdoors during this break. They've been cooped up. As people are stating, the we call putting yourself in your house.
Quarantine.
Quarantine, thank you, Councilman, is something that may last a lot longer than people think. And living in a city such as ours, to not allow our citizenry an opportunity to at least get some normal exercise, by the way, in a proper environment, meaning you can have your parks open at a certain time, you can have a curfews put on, you can have an opportunity for an educational setting. I know Councilwoman Harris was mentioning earlier how there are folks in her neighborhood, such as mine, that not necessarily getting the message because they don't have access to the internet and other forms. Here's an opportunity if someone comes to the park, we can have police and public safety officials there instructing them, telling about the new measures about staying healthy and safe, maybe handing out masks for our constituents free of charge. It's an opportunity for an education as well as to allow a process for folks to get out and exercise, but practice appropriate social distancing and et cetera. The idea to force people not only to be confined in a third-story apartment building on Alverson Ave, not being able to ever get out, not be able to even walk their dog, is somewhat cruel in my mind and not fair. So I think as leaders, we need to find, unfortunately, the best way to help our citizens to at least maintain some type of dignity in their daily lifestyle. So that's partly why that's another reason why I will not support this. And more importantly, it's another way in which the council is not doing its job by just simply voting on this. By not sending it to committee and having the mayor and his staff justify why they would like this executive order, justify why they would like things closed or opened or et cetera, seems to be unfair to the public, not knowing why this is a unilateral discussion in a vacuum with one branch of government. As you all know, the judiciary branch is suspended from the federal on down, except for limited purposes. Legislative branches aren't meeting. We are one few that are. Even the state house, the state legislature hasn't met at all. So the idea that it's upon us that when we receive a resolution of such magnitude, of such conversation, and then we don't have any kind of public discourse and any opportunity for this administration to justify their actions, gives me great concern. So with that I know my council colleagues, you will do what's best in what you believe is best, but I want you all to know that my position this time is that I will be voting no on this matter for those reasons and other. And I think it's very important that whenever the council decides to allow the mayor to suspend the rule of law, we should not take it lightly. We should make sure it's properly vetted, and we should also make sure it's properly controlled. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilwoman Anthony?
Yes, I'd like to say something. I am going to say that I'm going to be supporting the mayor and extending his executive orders. This is a crisis time. Anyone who listened to our governor speak today during her press conference talked about the importance of maintaining this social distancing. We are going to peak on May 3rd, according to her models. And it is of the utmost importance that we continue to social distancing. I think the reason behind closing the parks is because people were not observing the proper social distancing. I don't think the mayor is telling everyone to stay in their homes and not go out at all. He's saying that you can't use the parks right now because people were not abiding by the social distancing. There couldn't be a more important thing for us to do over the next 2 weeks than to social distance. And I think the mayor has been an excellent leader in this regard. And I think this is a very urgent action that he has taken. And I will support him in it. And I urge others to also.
Any further discussion on this matter?
I'd like to say something.
Councilman Taylor.
I will be voting against this, the same as I voted last time against it. The governor is running the state, and she is coming out. I watch her every day and actually post on my Facebook page the things that she has in case people cannot watch her. And like Councilman Igliozzi states, there is conflict. Last time there was a conflict of the date and the conflict of the number. This time there's a conflict of the parks, which was actually brought up in one of the governor's press releases that she had. And we should be following the governor, not the mayor, because the governor has not closed the parks. She has closed the parking lots. And after the last executive order that we passed, I was watching on social media. It was very confusing, especially for people who live on the east side, on whether they could walk on the Blackstone Trail, not walk on the Blackstone Trail. The governor was saying that they could. The mayor is saying that they can't, and we're still at that same position. There is a lot of social distancing that goes on when you're walking in the park. I mean, some people, they were playing basketball or football or whatever they were doing, soccer. But I mean, if push comes to shove, if people want to go out, there's not that many people out. The police could monitor, say, Roger Williams Park if they had to make sure that social distancing and stuff is going on. But we're sending a conflicting message. Also, the conflicting message, I agree with Councilman Igliozzi about if we don't pass this, then we don't get the money. If that was the case, then the state wouldn't get the money because, as Councilman Igliozzi said, the legislation hasn't met to vote on it. And every time the governor, she comes out with every 7 days or so an executive order, but the legislature hasn't voted on it. So, I mean, we're still going to get the money, but I think it sends a conflicting message. People are going stir crazy. They want to get outside, but now they're afraid that if they go in the park or walk or get some exercise, they're confused. And I don't believe we should be sending, didn't think that we should be sending a conflicting message when the governor was saying 5 people and us as a council passed the mayor's executive. I voted against it, but passed the executive order saying it was 10 people. So we need to be on the same page, let the governor run the state. And personally, I think politics should be taken out of it because I see it at a grandstanding for the mayor running for governor at some point, and we're going to hear this all again, how he did certain things that the governor didn't. Thank you.
Okay, the motion has been made and second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council President Matos.
Councilwoman Castillo, you have discussion? Councilwoman Castillo?
Yes. Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a concern too. I agree with some of my colleagues. I believe, for mental health, some people need to walk in the park And even, see we can make a plan, like starting open for a few hours, like, how that work. And like that, we can see, the people can, about social distance. I understand what the pandemics work. And I'm really sad what that happened, but I believe, we can try open the park, like the some hours, and like the people can go walk and go back home and see how that's my opinion. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Yes, yes, Madam Chair, Councilman Espinal.
Councilman Espinal?
Thank you,
Yeah.
Madam Chair, and members of City Council. I kind of question myself at this point, whether I live in Providence, am I living in Rhode Island, where I'm living? I need to question that right now. Because if you've been watching the state of our city, the state of our society every day, look, people are dying. We lost close to 100 people already. Close to 4,000 people are infected with this disease. This is a crisis. This is extreme. What is happening to us is extreme time, which requires extreme measure. Look, I have the privilege of living near the park. And I'm really saddened when I drive by the park and it looks like people are on vacation. No, we're not on vacation. This is a crisis. And we should be focusing on staying healthy, on staying alive, rather than going for a walk. Because if we didn't have this crisis, people probably might not even be thinking about going for a walk. So let's get serious about this. We need to stop this pandemic. We need to stop the virus, and we need to do whatever we can. So therefore, I will be supporting this executive order. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Espinal. Any further discussion?
If I could,
Mr.
I'd like to
Clerk,
add one thing. If everybody else.
Anybody else would like to contribute anything to the discussion before I can go a second time to Councilman Taylor?
Madam President, Councilman Salvatore here.
Councilman Salvatore?
I would just add that, it's very rare for Providence and the state of Rhode Island to be mentioned in any press briefing that any president of the United States provides. And yesterday, Providence and Rhode Island was mentioned in that press briefing. And Providence is a hotbed for this virus right now. We don't know when it's going to peak. There are several models out there that indicate that it could happen at the end of April. It could happen by the end of May, and it's unclear. So, we've been listening to the governor, and the governor has made it very clear that she has provided certain guidelines to certain industries, but she has not stopped those industries from going above and beyond what she is recommending. So I applaud the mayor for taking those extra precautions to make sure that our residents, our constituents who we represent, are safe at all times. Look, I love Roger Williams Park just as much as anybody else. I love our open spaces just as much as anybody else. But if we're going to start relaxing some of these guidelines based on what the governor is conveying to every city and town in this state, we are putting residents at risk. So before you vote on this, think about the message that the governor has been sending and what certain industries and businesses are doing to go above and beyond what her requirements are. And I think the mayor has demonstrated that over the last several weeks, and I applaud him. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Salvatore. So any further discussion for any council member who has not spoken before I go back to Councilman Taylor? Councilwoman LaFortune, you're muted. Are you trying to contribute?
Thank you. I also echo Councilman Salvatore's words. I think it's really important for us to take this seriously. One, there are guidelines that are set by the governor, but I think it's also for each municipality leader to assess their own individual cities to figure out what are some things that need to be implemented that are that abide to or are related to the governor's guidelines. And I agree with some of my other colleagues. People want to go outside to get fresh air. Throughout my neighborhood, I've seen people who've been walking down the street. And I think part of the issue was that there was a lot of crowding that was happening on the paths. And so we need to take precautionary measures. And we also need to make sure that we're curbing the spread of this disease. So I also commend the mayor. I'm not in full agreement about closing the parks because I use the path on Blackstone Boulevard. My parents live near Washington. In fact, their street goes right into Roger Williams Park. That's where I grew up as well. But you know, we have to be a little flexible at this time in order for all of us to stay safe and healthy. And in the long run, we'll see the benefits of the decision that has been made.
Thank you. Any council person that has not spoken? All right,
I'm all
Councilman
set.
Taylor.
I'm all
You all
set.
set, Councilman Taylor? Okay, Councilman Taylor. All right. Any further discussions? Mr. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Council President Matos,
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony,
Aye.
Councilwoman Castillo,
But I want to put clear, like I want to,
Councilwoman Castillo, I'm
maybe
sorry, you
something
cannot
like
give
we can
commentary
get
if
a
you
little-
can't.
Sorry, Councilwoman Castillo, we need your vote, either yes or no.
yes.
Councilman Correa,
Aye.
Councilwoman Harris.
Aye.
Sorry, Councilman Espinal,
Aye.
Councilwoman Harris,
Aye.
Councilman Igliozzi,
Nay.
Councilwoman Kerwin,
Aye.
Councilwoman LaFortune,
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Narducci,
No.
Councilwoman Ryan,
No.
Councilman Salvatore,
Aye.
Councilman Taylor.
No.
You have 11 ayes, 3 noes. The matter passes on a roll call vote.
3 no's? Should be 10-3, right? 10-4.
11 ayes,
10 ayes.
10-4.
4. Councilman Narducci voted no.
I have Igliozzi, Narducci, and Taylor.
Ryan,
No.
Councilwoman
Ryan.
Ryan.
And Ryan.
Sorry, thank you. I have 10 ayes and 4 noes. The matter passes on a roll call vote. Item 7, Council President Matos, resolution authorizing approval of the following contract award by the Board of Contract and Supply in accordance with Section 21-26 of the Code of Ordinances. First student, school department, $13,375,996.
Refer to the Committee on Finance.
Item 8,
Council President,
Councilwoman LaFortune.
yes, can we open that item for discussion, item 7?
It was just refer. You can speak on a point of personal expression.
Thank you. So to speak on a point of personal expression, I would like to acknowledge that in February, I did put in a resolution requesting an update on the contract negotiations for first student. As we all could recall, last year, it was not 2019, 2018, where with the strike that occurred, there was a lot of back and forth. And one of the things that we promised to our residents was that we were going to look at various options and provide updates around the negotiation. And so I am concerned that there's a resolution in place asking us to approve a contract extension where there hasn't been any updates that have been provided to us. And a resolution was put out there back in February requesting this type of update. So I do hope that in the Finance Committee, and I'm sure the chair will do so, will vet this accordingly to make sure that the necessary steps that were made going forward.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk.
Item 8, Councilman Correa and Narducci.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
thank you. Motion to ask the clerk to read items 8 through 12 into the record and pass on a roll call vote.
Second, Madam President.
The motion has been made and second. We're going to request the clerk to read the items from 8 through 12. And those items will be passed after on a roll call vote. Mr.
Madam
Clerk.
President, Madam President, can we just have this discussion first? This is Councilman Salvatore. If
Councilman, yep,
On white
Councilman Salvatore. So we're taking
if there's no opposition from the sponsors of item number 8, I would like to be noted as a co-sponsor.
And Madam President, Councilman Narducci. I would
So
like to
item
co-sponsor number 10 and 11.
Madam President, we need
Okay,
to
Leader
read
Ryan.
items into the record before we can talk about them. So I suggest that my colleagues, I think it's wonderful that they would like to co-sponsor, but let's allow the clerk to read the matters all into the record, and then we can agree to sponsor or offer sponsor opportunities. Please.
Mr. Clerk, please read the items.
Madam President, would you like us to read one at a time and ask for co-sponsors?
Yes, let's do it that way. Yeah.
Okay, item 8, Councilman Correa and Narducci. Resolution requesting an operations plan for the Department of Public Works.
Okay, so these items, Councilman Salvatore wants to be a co-sponsor. Councilwoman Castillo wants to co-sponsor.
I would like to also,
Councilwoman Ryan, Councilwoman LaFortune,
Councilman
Anybody
Espinal.
else? Councilman Espinal. Okay,
Item 9,
Right.
Councilman.
Councilman Iglesias too?
Councilman Igliosi. Okay.
I'm gonna have discussion or just gonna?
The entire council.
Not me,
Oh, I'm sorry.
not on 8, I'll explain.
I'm sorry.
So the ones that we already were, the ones that were acknowledged. Mr. Clerk, could you read the item 9 now?
Salvatore, Castillo, Ryan, LaFortune, Espinal, Igliosi, and Harris are co-sponsors
Correct.
For 8, right?
for 8.
Yes, and can you,
Number 9,
can we
Councilman
read item
Espinal,
9?
Councilwoman Anthony, Harris, Kerwin, and Councilman Salvatore, resolution requesting an executive order to suspend immigration enforcement at COVID-19 testing and treatment sites.
Madam President, I would like to send the co-sponsor if there's no opposition.
Councilwoman Miller would like to co-sponsor. Councilwoman Castillo would like to co-sponsor also.
so would I, Council President, thank you.
Councilwoman LaFortune.
Madam President, at the appropriate time, I would like to speak on it. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to do the discussion right after we read all of them, Councilman Espinal, okay?
Thank you.
So, thank you. Anybody else would like to co-sponsor item number 9?
Like to, Councilwoman Vice President.
Chairman Igliosi,
And Councilman Correa.
Councilman Narducci.
Councilman Correa, and Councilman Narducci.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, please read item number 10.
Councilwoman LaFortune, Anthony, Harris, Kerwin, and Councilman Salvatore, resolution requesting a statewide economic recovery plan.
Any additional co-sponsor for item number 10?
Councilman
Councilwoman
Narducci, I'd like to
Miller.
co-sponsor 10.
Councilwoman Miller, Chairman Igliosi, and Councilman Narducci. Councilwoman
Thank you.
Castillo. Councilwoman Ryan.
Councilman Correa.
Councilman Correa.
Councilman Espinal.
Councilman Espinal. Okay. Mr. Clerk, can you please read item number 11?
Councilwoman LaFortune, Anthony, Castillo, Councilman Espinal, Councilwoman Kerwin, and Councilman Salvatore. Resolution requesting COVID-19 relief funds for all Rhode Islanders.
Madam President,
Co-sponsor, yep,
Councilman
co-sponsor. Councilman Narducci would like to be a co-sponsor. Councilwoman Miller, Councilwoman Ryan, Chairman Iglesias.
Councilman Correa.
Chairman Iglesias, you're a little bit too far away. I almost cannot see you.
Oh, I'm waving my hand.
Any additional co-sponsor for item number 11?
Councilman Correa.
Councilman Correa?
Yes.
Mr. Clerk, can you please read item number 12?
Councilwoman LaFortune, Anthony, Councilman Espinal, Councilwoman Kerwin, Councilman Narducci, and Salvatore. Resolution requesting to protect Rhode Islanders suffering from homelessness.
Madam President, I would like to.
So Councilwoman Harris would like to co-sponsor item number 12. Councilwoman Miller, Councilwoman Ryan, Councilwoman Castillo. Any
Councilman
additional?
Correa.
Council
Councilman
President,
Correa?
I'd like to co-sponsor too.
Chairman Iglesias? Did I miss any council members for item number 12? Okay. All right, so the clerk has read items 8 through 12. I know that there's some discussion that was requested. I'm going to go back to Councilman Salvatore, who was the first one that wanted to speak. Councilman Salvatore, are you all set, or would you like to add anything else?
No, Madam President, I just wanted to co-sponsor item number 8. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Salvatore. We make note of that. Councilman Espinal requested to speak.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the Providence City Council. As you know, testing for COVID-19 is critical in stopping the spread of this virus. There are many residents in Providence and around the state that are afraid to get tested for COVID-19 due to their immigration status. And Madam Chair, in the face of a global pandemic, we should ensure that every person, regardless of their immigration status, be able to access testing and treatment without fear of being arrested by the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Through the governor's power of an executive order, she can help ensure the safety of our immigrant population and give those residents the confidence and security they need to seek testing and treatment. This community is at greater risk of communal spread because of fear or lack of understanding. So, Madam Chair and members of the Providence City Council, we must do all we can to protect the residents of our great state, regardless of the nation of origin and regardless the immigration status. I think it's a great resolution, and I ask my colleagues for their support. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on those items 8 through 12?
I look at number 8.
Madam
Number
President,
8.
Yeah. Is that me or Ryan? I'm sorry.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan?
thank you, Madam President. If there's no objection from the sponsors, I too would like to be listed as a sponsor on item 9.
Okay.
Thank you.
I honor
Leader
your
Ryan?
support, Madam Leader.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Councilman Taylor, yeah?
Yes, I just wanted to explain, and on item number 8, I understand how it was an issue, but I believe that the issue, I'll be voting no on this because the only reason is I think the issue is with the administration. I don't think it's with the Director of Public Works or the Superintendent of Public Works, or Highway Division, I'm sorry, or the men and women of the Department of Public Works or Environment or any of them. But the problem is that they work for the mayor. And the mayor, when he came out with his executive order, said that is keeping people home. It's not the fault of the director or the superintendent of highway because they're in, as far as I know, most of the time. I have had some issues in my ward that I've reached out. Matter of fact, I've used 311 a lot more than I used it before. It might have not, the garbage might not have been picked up in the 1 or 2 days that it usually, but it's picked up that week. I drive through my ward, probably 2 or 3 times. A lot of it is the bulk items that is always the same, that I end up writing down the address and calling Waste Management myself and giving the address, and then they get picked up. But I understand the intent of this, but I believe it should be written on the administration part, not Public Works, because they are in, even though they're in minimally. I know yesterday or day before, they were around actually picking up mattresses in front of houses because Waste Management wasn't doing it. And, you know, believe me, mattresses I'm a king at. I know we have a problem with mattresses, but I don't believe, you know, the mattress depot is closed. I believe it should be open, but I don't think that is the call of the director of Public Works or the superintendent of Highway. I believe that's the call of the mayor. And when the mayor put his executive order out, they felt that they were not, what's the word I'm looking for? Essential employees. And they're just abiding by what the mayor has called for. So I like I said, I understand the intent, but I don't think it should be against the men and women of the Public Works or the director or the highway superintendent. I believe this should be directed more towards the mayor on why he has Public Works people home instead of, because they can't work remotely. You can't pick up garbage at your house. You know what I mean? So that's why I will be voting no on it, just because of the intent of the way it's written. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion?
Madam President, if I may.
Councilman Narducci.
Thank you. That was never meant to reflect on any employees or the directors. My outlook was moving forward to make sure that we have a plan that works and to make sure that our men and women that is working now, where most of us is told to stay home, do have all the proper PPS, personal protection stuff that they need to do their job. And like I said, I just think moving forward, we need to make sure that, you know, once everything's said and done, that we do have some type of plan, and that plan, you know, would have to be directed through the director of DPW, the director of highway, and the administration. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilwoman LaFortune, are you trying to, you're muted. Okay.
I would like to speak on items 10, 11, and 12. So, you know, all of these resolutions also align with my colleague, Councilman Espinal's resolution, item number 9. But basically what these resolutions are doing is, one, looking at the impact of this pandemic, but also considering the dire economic impact and the vulnerable communities that it's affecting throughout our city. For item number 10, in order for our city of the city of Providence to recover from this, I think it's really important for our administration to work collaboratively with the governor. Now, I will say first that our governor, as well as Dr. Alexander Scott, has been doing such an exceptional job in ensuring that our community stays safe, providing us with daily updates. The communication has been quite remarkable, in fact, exemplary. And so I do commend them on that. But we also need to think about how our state is going to recover. And I'm sure they're having discussions around it, but we also are aware that the mayor will be submitting his budget. And yes, the city could balance their budget without necessarily engaging with the state, but this is not normal times. And I think it's really important to understand what type of resources that will be allocated to the state to help us rebuild our economy. We are the state's capital, so it's important that we prioritize Providence as well as our other municipalities. For item number 11, we're going to hopefully see soon some relief funds. But we also need to consider our immigrant population. Many of them are working in the service industry. They work in our restaurants, they own businesses. And I think it's really important for us to ensure that we have resources that are allocated, whether it's going directly to them or going to an agency that services our immigrant community, regardless of immigration status, because all of these individuals, they're residents of our city and they contribute to the economic wealth of our city. So it's important that we're not excluding them from any relief opportunities that will come in. For item number 12, we all know, we are aware that we have a significant housing problem in our state and in our city. We have a significant homelessness issue. And during this time, especially and always, everyone should have the right to shelter. We have hotels that are empty right now, and yet we still have people during this pandemic that are on the streets and they have nowhere to go. We have families that have nowhere to go, and community members are scraping together to pay for hotel rooms. I think it's really important for our state to consider this and to have some sort of a funding source or structure to support some of our most vulnerable community members to ensure that they are safe, they have the right to safe shelter during this time and also moving forward. So I do thank everyone who has co-sponsored these resolutions because it's important for all of us during this time to work collaboratively, come together and to support our community as we try to rebuild the economic state of our city and to also bring our community together during these trying times. So again, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council President Matos.
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony.
Aye.
Councilwoman Castillo.
Aye.
Councilman Correa.
Aye.
Councilman Espinal.
Aye.
Councilwoman Harris.
Aye.
Councilman Igliozzi.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerwin.
Aye.
Councilwoman LaFortune.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Narducci.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryan.
Aye.
Councilman Salvatore.
Aye.
Councilman Taylor.
No on 8, aye, yes on 9 through 12.
You have 13 ayes and 1 nay on number 8. You have 14 ayes and no nays on items 9 through 12. The several items pass on a roll call vote. Item 13, Councilwoman Ryan, Councilman Espinal, Igliozzi, Narducci, and Salvatore. Resolution recognizing and remembering the life of Armand E. Battistini, Jr.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
I make a motion to pass a friendly amendment on a voice vote on basically adding a paragraph to page 2 of the resolution stating as follows: be it further resolved that the City Council hereby requests that the city flag be flown at half-staff on Saturday, April 18, 2020, in honor of the memory of Armand E. Battistini, Jr.
Madam President, I would like to second that.
The motion has been made and second to amend the item number 13 as it was stated by Leader Ryan. On the amendment, we're going to be doing this on a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I have it.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to pass motion to pass item 13 as amended on a roll call vote.
Second that motion.
The
Madam
motion has been
President,
made,
if I may.
one moment. The motion has been made and second to pass item number 13 as amended. Discussion now. I heard Pro Tem Correa.
Madam President, if there's no objection from any of the sponsors, I'd like to be listed as a co-sponsor on that.
Councilwoman Castillo,
I as well.
co-sponsor.
I as well.
Councilwoman Harris,
As well.
Councilwoman Harris, co-sponsor also,
Yes.
and Councilman Taylor.
Yes.
Okay, I would like to co-sponsor also.
I would,
Any additional co-sponsor?
I would also.
Okay, Councilwoman LaFortune, Councilwoman Miller, Councilwoman Kerwin, Councilwoman Anthony. So it's fair to say that everyone present in the meeting is co-sponsoring?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Madam
all
President,
right, so, Leader Ryan.
thank you first to my colleagues for joining as sponsors. I think everybody knows how dear Armand Battistini is to me and my family personally. At this time, I would like to ask the clerk if he could kindly read the resolution into the record.
Gladly. Whereas Armand E. Battistini Jr., a lifelong resident of Providence and an active community member of Ward 5, passed away on April 11, 2020 at the age of 89. And whereas he attended LaSalle Academy, graduating in 1949, and whereas he began his undergraduate work at Brown University as a member of the class of 1954 and graduated from Providence College as a member of the class of 1955 with a Bachelor of Arts in Education. And whereas following his graduation from Providence College, Armand enlisted in the United States Navy, where he honorably served his country from 1955 until 1957. And whereas in 1964, he earned his Master's of Education in Physical Education, Health, and Recreation from Boston University. And whereas he served as the Rhode Island State Representative for District 8, which includes the Elmhurst and Mount Pleasant neighborhoods of Providence from 1977 to 1992, working as the chairperson of the Joint Committee on Accounts and Claims and the vice chairperson on the Health, Education, and Welfare Committee. And whereas he was very involved in sports, founding and acting as a board member for the Elmhurst Little League for 41 years and coaching the St. Pius CYO basketball team for 61 years. Whereas for 11 years, he worked as the supervisor of the Johnson & Wales University Recreation Center, and whereas he served as a student support specialist for the Providence School Department for 36 years and worked as supervisor and director for the Kennedy Recreation Center at the Providence Recreation Department for 25 years. And whereas he was an active member in the community, serving as the chairperson for the 5th Ward Democratic Committee, the vice chairperson for the Providence Democratic City Committee, and a state Democratic Committee member for the 5th Representative District. And whereas on September 26, 2017, the Providence City Council passed a resolution principally sponsored by Councilwoman Joanne Ryan to rename the Pleasant View Recreational Center to the Armand E. Battistini Jr. Recreational Center in recognition of his many years of dedicated public service. And whereas he is survived by his loving wife, Mary E. Battistini, their 4 children, Armando, Maria, Laurie, and Christina, and his 5 grandchildren, Olivia, Paul, Emilia, Ryan, and Lucienne. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Providence does hereby recognize and remember the life and legacy of Armand E. Battistini Jr., including his commitment to service in the state of Rhode Island and the City of Providence. Be it further resolved that the City Council hereby requests that the city flag be flown at half-staff on Saturday, April 18, 2020, in honor of the memory of Armand E. Battistini Jr. Be it further resolved that the City Council of the City of Providence extends its deepest condolences to the entire Battistini family, as well as Mr. Battistini's extended family and friends throughout Providence and beyond.
Thank you. The motion has been made and second to pass item number 13 as amended. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council President Matos.
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony.
Aye.
Councilwoman Castillo,
Aye.
Councilman Correa,
Aye.
Councilman Espinal,
Aye.
Councilwoman Harris,
Aye.
Councilman Igliozzi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerwin,
Aye.
Councilwoman LaFortune,
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Narducci,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryan,
Aye.
Councilman Salvatore,
Aye.
Councilman Taylor.
Aye.
You have 14 ayes and 0 nays. The matter passes on a roll call vote. Item 14, Councilwoman Ryan, Councilman Igliozzi, Correa, Councilwoman Harris, and Councilman Narducci. The resolution requesting a report on the current financial position of the city.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan,
motion to pass item 14 on a roll call vote.
Madam President, second that.
motion has been made and second to pass item number 14 on a roll call vote. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council President Matos,
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony,
Nay.
Councilwoman Castillo,
Aye.
Councilman Correa,
Aye.
Councilman Espinal,
Aye.
Councilwoman Harris,
Aye.
Councilman Igliozzi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerwin, Councilwoman Kerwin,
Aye.
Councilwoman LaFortune,
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Narducci,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryan,
Aye.
Councilman Salvatore,
Aye.
Councilman Taylor.
Aye.
You have 13 ayes and 1 nay. The matter passes on a roll call vote. Reports from committee. Committee on Finance, Councilman John J. Igliozzi, Chairman, transmits the following with recommendation the same be severally adopted as amended.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan,
motion to ask the clerk to read items 15 and 16 into the record and to pass for the first time on a roll call vote.
Second.
the motion has been made and second to request the clerk to read items 15 and 16 into the record, and both items will be passed for the first time on a roll call vote. Mr. Clerk, please read the item.
Item 15, an ordinance in accordance with Chapter 21, Section 19 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Providence entitled Capital Equipment Budget as amended, $20 million master lease. Item 16, an ordinance in accordance with Chapter 21, Section 19 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Providence entitled Capital Equipment Budget as amended, $9 million master lease.
Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Council President Matos,
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony,
Aye.
Councilwoman Castillo,
Aye.
Councilman Correa,
Aye.
Councilman Espinal,
Aye.
Councilwoman Harris,
Aye.
Councilman Igliozzi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerwin, Councilwoman LaFortune,
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Narducci,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryan,
Aye.
Councilman Salvatore,
Aye.
Councilman Taylor.
Aye.
The several matters passed for the first time on a roll call vote, 14-0. You have 14 ayes, no nays. Motion, transmits the following with recommendation the same be severally.
Madam
Leader
President,
Ryan,
motion to ask the clerk to read items 17 through 19 into the record and to pass on a roll call vote and refer back to the Board of Contract and Supply.
Second.
the motion has been made and second to request that the clerk read the items 17 through 19 into the record And all those items will be referred back to the Board of Contract and Supply. Mr. Clerk, please read the item.
Item 17, resolution authorizing the approval of the following blanket contract award by the Board of Contracts and Supply in accordance with Section 21-26A of the Code of Ordinances for $6 million, including Hardy Corporation, Hartford Paving, Narragansett Improvement Company, D'Ambra Construction, Lucena Brothers Incorporated, Rycon Construction, all for the Department of Public Works. Item 18, resolution authorizing approval of the following change order contract award by the Board of Contract and Supply in accordance with Section 21-26D of the Code of Ordinances for UniFirst in the amount of $15,000 for the Department of Public Works. Item 19, resolution authorizing the approval of the following change order contract award by the Board of Contract and Supply in accordance with Section 21-26D of the Code of Ordinances for Freeway Car Wash in the amount of $22,500 for the Police Department.
Okay, these items that was just read are going to be passed on a roll call vote. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council President Matos.
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony.
Aye.
Councilwoman Castillo.
Aye.
Councilman Correa.
Aye.
Councilman Espinal.
Aye.
Councilwoman Harris.
Aye.
Councilman Igliozzi.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerwin.
Aye.
Councilwoman LaFortune.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Narducci.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryan.
Aye.
Councilman Salvatore.
Aye.
Councilman Taylor.
Aye.
You have 14 ayes, no nays. The several matters passed and will be referred back to the Board of Contract and Supply. Transmit the following with recommendation the same be severally received.
Leader Ryan.
Motion to ask the clerk to read items 20 through 22 into the record, receive and approve on a roll call vote.
Second.
The motion has been made a second to ask the clerk to read items 20 through 22 into the record. And those items is going to be passed on a roll call vote. Mr. Clerk.
Item 20, communication from His Honor the Mayor dated January 29, 2020, informing the honorable members of the City Council that pursuant to Sections 302B and 1103 of the Providence Home Rule Charter of 1980 as amended and Public Law Chapter 45 to 50, Sections 1 through 31 passed in 1987, he is this day appointing Joseph Lazzarini, 25 Woodbine Street, Providence, Rhode Island, 02906 as a member of the Providence Human Relations Commission for a term to expire January 31st, 2023, and respectfully submits the same for your approval. Item 21, communication from His Honor the Mayor, dated February 19, 2020, informing the honorable members of the City Council that pursuant to Sections 304B and 1002 of the Providence Home Rule Charter of 1980 as amended and Public Law Chapter 45 to 50, Sections 1 through 31 passed in 1987, he is this day appointing Leo Parada of 117 Cliff Avenue, Portsmouth, Rhode Island, 02871 to the position of Director of Public Works and respectfully submits the same for your approval. Item 22, communication from His Honor the Mayor dated February 20th, 2020, informing the honorable members of the City Council that pursuant to Sections 302B and 203 of the Providence Home Rule Charter of 1980 as amended, he is this day reappointing Renee Brooks Omasori of 213 Sackett Street, Providence, Rhode Island, 02907 to the Board of Canvassers for a term to expire on March 30th, 2026, and respectfully submits the same for your approval.
Okay, the motion was made and second to approve all items, the three items on a roll call vote. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council President Matos.
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony.
Aye.
Councilwoman Castillo. Councilwoman Castillo.
Aye.
Councilman Correa.
Aye.
Councilman Espinal.
Aye.
Councilwoman Harris.
Aye.
Councilman Igliozzi.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerwin.
Aye.
Councilwoman LaFortune,
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Narducci,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryan,
Aye.
Councilman Salvatore,
Aye.
Councilman Taylor,
Yes on 20 and 22, and I'm gonna abstain on 21.
You have 14 ayes and no nays on items 20 and 22. You have 13 ayes and 1 abstention on items 21. Item 21, the several matters pass on a roll call vote. Transmits the following without recommendation. Item 23, communication from His Honor the Mayor dated February 14th, 2020, informing the honorable members of the City Council that pursuant to Sections 302B and 1008 of the Providence Home Rule Charter of 1980 as amended, and Public Law, Chapter 45 to 50, Sections 1 through 31, passed in 1987, he is this day appointing Joseph M. Atchu of 85 Wallen Way, Northbridge, Massachusetts, 01534, as the Director of the Department of Inspection and Standards, and respectfully submits the same for your approval.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to receive and approve item 23 on a roll call vote.
Second that motion.
Motion has been made and second to receive and approve item number 23, and it's going to be on a roll call vote. Any discussion?
Councilman Espinal, Madam President.
Councilman Espinal.
Thank you, Madam President and honorable councilors. I believe that Mr. Atchu meets the qualifications to become the Director of City Department of Inspections and Standards. But I understand some of the concerns that have been raised by some of my colleagues as well as many contractors. I would encourage Director Atchu to institute training policies around diversity, customer service, to ensure that the information being provided to the contractors is available in several languages, and that all fees and obligations are clearly spelled out and defined. This goes a long way towards better understanding of city policies and fee structure for building and inspection permits applications. The Director of Inspections and Standards plays a vital role in our city's operating structure. And I believe that Director Atchu will do the best to implement policies and procedures that are clear and predictable. I'll be voting yes on, and if confirmed, I wish him well. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you,
Madam
Councilman
President.
Espinal. Any
Madam
further,
President.
Councilman Narducci?
Thank you.
Councilman,
One
Councilman
thing
Narducci.
about, yes, I'm sorry. One thing about Joe, that you can take to the bank is he is by the book, and you know, he's going to deal with everybody in a fair way. In knowing, you know, his involvement in the department already, the problem I had is listening to some people that were actually bashing Joe, that were, how do they say, hostile employees. So I am looking forward to working with Joe moving forward, and I will be supporting Joe. Thank you, Madam President.
Okay. Councilwoman Castillo, you wanted to add?
Yes, you know, and I agree with the Councilman Espinal say. I received a lot of phone calls for, you know, minority contractors, so how they feel. Some people say they feel discrimination. For me, that's a really, you know, hard word, like say discrimination. And also, I remember I'm in finance, and I remember when Igliosi said, you know, call the city council and ask for the support. And I feel, you know, he never called me. So I feel, because I feel in the same way with the other contractors feel sometimes, and I voted no. Thank you.
Any further discussion on this item? Councilwoman La Fortune?
No.
No?
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Council President Matos,
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony,
Aye.
Councilwoman Castillo,
No.
Councilman Correa,
Aye.
Councilman Espinal,
Aye.
Councilwoman Harris,
Abstain.
Councilman Igliozzi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerwin,
Aye.
Councilwoman LaFortune,
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Narducci,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryan,
Abstain?
Councilman Salvatore,
Aye.
Councilman Taylor.
Abstain.
You have 10 ayes, 1 no, 3 abstentions. The matter passes for the first time. The matter passes on a roll call vote.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan?
motion to suspend Rule 2C of the rules of the Providence City Council, that while under the governor's executive order regarding holding meetings telephonically, that all regular city council meetings will be held at 5:30 PM.
Second that, Council President, second motion.
The motion has been made a second to suspend the rules of the City Council 2C. And this rules, it would allow us to schedule the meetings, regular meetings of the Providence City Council for 5:30 PM. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Leader
Madam
Ryan?
President, motion to adjourn this meeting in memory of Armin E. Battistini Jr., Sonia Bueno, retired Providence firefighters Richard Reddington and Kenneth Hoskin.
Second.
The motion has been made a second to adjourn, and we're going to adjourn in memory of several individuals from our city that fortunately passed, and also Mr. Armand Battistini Jr. So all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it. We're adjourned.
Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President.